All right, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Boss Talk Podcast. We are back, baby. We took a break. Feels good to be back. The break was very much needed. But man, I'm ready to get back to it. How about you guys?
Max, are you ready to be back?
I was born ready.
Okay, can we get a hand clap back? You know what I'm saying?
Feels great. We got our live audience right here in the background.
That's right.
Appreciate you guys coming through, man. That's right.
If you guys hear extra cheering from me, you know what it is.
Shout out to WRC. Shout out to Pristine Automotive in West Hollywood and North Hollywood, the greatest body shops, custom collision out there in the world.
And I second that. Second that.
Hit 'em up,
So we
hit 'em
actually
up.
changed the name to Body Shop Podcast. Pretty soon we're off of here and they'll host the show. But anyways, welcome back, man. It was good to be off for a little bit. All of us had some things to take care of. It's called Boss Talk, and we really be out here trying to get it done. So I've been excited to see the things that Moses has been doing in the background. We got Max over here, always into something, headed out the country. Yeah. I wish I could switch places just for however long he's gone, because I've been wanting to go to France.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be a fun
time for you, bro.
Today, we have the most specialist guest, because I said so. My flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, my sister, Marie. Everybody give her a hand clap. Don't not clap for that. Don't not clap for that. Go ahead and tell them who you introduce yourself.
My name is Vanessa Marie. Marie to my family and friends. Vanessa is my government name. But I'll be 40 next year. Mother of 2. Wife, happily married. And I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer for 13 years now. And follower of Christ. Believer in the Bible. I think that's
that sums it up.
That's a great intro.
What's your Instagram if people wanted to find? We're gonna tag it, but you tell them anyways.
My personal Instagram is at wewe6 WEWE6, and I do have another at Train with Vanessa, which is my kind of workout personal training Instagram.
There you go, y'all. So if you need some personal training, hit her up.
Hey,
best in the business right here.
There it is. That's why I'm out of shape.
But yeah, man, I mean, let's open up at the Boss Talk. Shout out Hector for tapping in. Shout out you, bro. We're going to talk about personal growth today.
Yes, personal growth. So this is very important. When you are trying to boss up and you need to run your own show, you're not going to have anybody there guiding you and holding your hand. You got to figure things out on your own. That's when it gets difficult. You have to be able to look at yourself and tell yourself, I can do better than what it is that I'm doing. You cannot go through life being content and think that I got it all figured out. I know better than everybody else. You need to reflect and be like, if you feel like you're strong, which you may be, you may walk into a room with 20 people and be the strongest person financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever. But somewhere there's another room where you are the weakest link. You need to be able to look in the mirror and look at your own qualities and say, I can improve here, I can improve there. But that requires humbleness. So personal growth is something that it requires some tearing down. You got to let go of your ego to grow. That's my thoughts on personal growth. Thank you, Hector, for bringing that to our attention.
That's right. Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like in personal growth, you got to recognize where you're failing at and where do you want to be at. So in order to do that, I feel like what I do is I envision like, okay, this is where I'm at now. How could I be over here? And you're not going to get to that place unless you change your habits, right? It's all about discipline and creating those new habits. New habits create new opportunity, new
opportunities, and new environments,
exactly.
Right? From those,
exactly. So, man, to grow, man, you just got to change.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And you're going to see it. It's like working out, right? You're in the gym. You'll see the change within fucking 2 weeks, bro. And then keep going. You got to be consistent.
Right.
But man, if you want to grow, you have to change. What do you think about it, Max?
I agree with both of you guys. Honestly, there isn't much to add on, but personal growth is what you make of it. So if you really want and you really try, you can reach that next level. If you don't, you kick back, you stay lazy, you never will. It's pretty much, I align with everything you guys say. There's not too much for me to add on. Just got to keep pushing.
Well, I'll definitely add that I like to look at each of us individuals as a plant in a sense, growing and from a seed and branches and leaves. And I think we can all grow and be pruned and bear fruit. And a lot of the biblical imagery that we get from the Bible as far as growth and bearing fruit. And for myself, I definitely grown a lot recently, being recently married in the last few years, approaching 40 years old. I went from being a single woman to being the leader, the king, if you will, of my own life and directing where I was going. And when I got married, it took a while before I could find my role. You know, me and my husband would be battling. I didn't want to be having him tell me what to do. I had been in control of my own life and, letting the Bible lead me and taking a submissive role to my husband and really finding my identity. I could realize, and I see that, being my husband's wife and being submissive to him and helping him, I could go, and I am going further than I could ever go as the king, if you will, of my own life. And so the growth of, realizing where you fit, where what is your role, and moving forward with that. I feel like that's what we all need. I find my growth and my identity in the Bible and in the Word. So I just try to follow Christ and grow. And I hope that I can.
So here,
Go ahead. I'll chime in after.
You guys can spit us some game because both of y'all are married, right? Me and Max, we're single. Right? How is it going through the process of like going from a single person to marriage, and then you have that marriage, right? You're there for your significant others, but you also have to have your own life as an individual as well, right? How do you relate that to your significant other without them trying to be like, oh, but it's us or nothing? Because I found like in a lot of relationships, it's like that's why a lot of relationships fail, or that's why they have arguments, because it's like they want to be there. Just, oh, no, you got to be with me at all times and this and that,
Right.
And I know Javon is actually really good with, because, bro, the work that we put in is like long hours, and your wife, she holds it down for you.
Right.
So how do you relay that? How do you find that balance?
I'll let you give your thoughts.
Well, I know that it's different from me coming from a woman, and the role that a wife plays in a marriage is much different than a husband. And I strongly believe, just like the Bible says, God created Adam first, and he created Eve as the helper to Adam. And I believe in every marriage, the wife should be the helper or the helpmate to the husband. Not to say that that's a insignificant role or a negative role in any way. I definitely feel like women in general, I would go as far to say, weren't created to be leaders. We were created to be helpers, supporters, emotional support systems. And so I believe that when we take on those roles as support, as opposed to being the leader or the director, we actually go further. And so I think that as a woman, especially in today's time with feminism and everything is about being equal, a lot of women are trying to take on those roles of being a leader, being the head of their own household. And I feel like it's definitely going to be, you're not going to go as far as having a husband and a man as the head of your house, to be the leader, the protector, as God created a man to be.
20-year-old girls all across America are having heart attacks right now. They're like, what the hell?
It's all about equality.
They're tripping out.
I'm masculine.
Punching their computer screen.
Yeah, no. That was facts, though. That's facts. They need to hear that for sure.
Yeah.
I think what are your thoughts on what you just heard before I get into mine?
I agree. That's how it's supposed to be. A man needs to be in the place of a man. A woman needs to be in the place of a woman. Now, should there be equality in a relationship? Yes. I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but there's just some roles that are better fit for the man as for him to lead. And there's better roles for the woman that she may do in her womanly presence in the life of the man and the relationship of how it may go. So I agree with that. That's how it is in the conservative Armenian families. That's how it is in a lot of families, I mean, essentially going around. And how much have we seen when women try to be masculine, the tough guys in their relationships, that the relationships usually break down? Because it's a guy is not meant to be submissive and be treated like a bitch. If he is that person, he's going to go through it for a little bit. And then after a while, he's going to crack through and he's not going to be able to take it anymore. And he's going to be like, nah, and they're going to leave. There's going to be a breakup, whatever. So I agree with what you said. Everything is correct. I have no objection whatsoever.
So from a male perspective of being a husband, and I want to say that we talk about, like, first of all, marriage is a traditional ritual, if you will, right? But the failure that we have in today's society is that none of us most of us are not approaching it correctly. We're not having that personal growth, right? So I'm gonna tie these both in there. We're not having that personal growth before we go to get married. Instead, we get married and we're still going behind our partner's backs. We're still trying to be individuals. That goes for men and women. And, you know, by the grace of God, in my marriage where I'm at right now, it takes a lot of work because in particular, me and my wife, it was never a thing about getting married. I just like walked into somewhere. I scanned the whole room. This is the finest girl in here. This is who I'm trying to talk to. And she said the same thing. Not that this is the finest girl, that this is the manliest man I ever seen in my life. And I need to see what's going down. Right. So we became friends and we just were not thinking about life in that scale. And because of that, it has made marriage more difficult. I'm not the type of person that's going to get on the internet and try and preach that there's a one thing fits all. Like, marriage is hard. It can be very hard if you have not prepared for it correctly, if your partner is not prepared for marriage, and if you are not willing to look in the mirror. You yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, are the most important person in the marriage, not your partner. What you do is going to reflect what your partner does, because as the Bible says, as in the Talmud,
as the Talmud says,
as it says in the Bible, when you are married, you become one. So it's like, you got to fix this side over here. So I will say that I believe in the roles, but the roles are hard to say what they are, because a lot of men are not making more money than the wives in these days.
Well, it's because all these wives these days have OnlyFans and this and that,
if I make
bro.
OnlyFans, bro, I'm selling out.
I've literally been thinking about making an OnlyFans just because, bro. I'm going. You know what? I'm not gay, but I'm targeting the gay community. I'm targeting the gay community, and I'm making millions, bro.
Whoa. I don't condone any of this.
And that concludes this episode. No, but just to wrap it up, because I don't want to linger on this for too long. All I'm going to say is that it's something that you really got to reflect and see where you are in life. No matter where you are ready for marriage, but you have to know where you're at so you know how to fit in and play your position.
I don't know. Are you ready for marriage, Max?
No, I'm not looking for that.
No, everybody's ready. But it's like, you just got to, you were ready to drive a car before you drove it, but you just got to, you feel me? Like,
that's a good one.
Can I drive the boat? You feel me?
I was driving like at 12.
Now whether or not you're going to speed or not is, you need to know. Are you driving on the streets, the parking lot, or the highway? You feel me? So what type of woman are you marrying? You know
what's funny? Shout out to homie Mason. You know Mason. You have my
Triple OG, Young G.
Yep, exactly. His mom, bro, the other day randomly, right? I go to the pad. His mom goes, Moses, when are you going to have a kid and get married? I was like, damn, where did that come from? She's all like, I just want to be an aunt already. I go, you have 3 kids. You could be a freaking grandma. She's like, I don't want to be a grandma. I was like, oh, okay. But
part-time. She's just trying to say I'm part-time.
Yeah,
don't be expecting me to watch these kids. Yeah. I got my own life.
I guess what it is. But I was like, why are you rushing me? She's like, you're 30. And it got me thinking like, damn, I am 30. Fuck, bro. Kind of running out of time, huh?
Nah, dog, you got a lot of time.
I think I need to get to
it. You got Robert De Niro and what's his name out here?
Al Pacino, Al Pacino at 80 years old. That's crazy. Yeah, but their girlfriend or whatever, like fucking 25, 30 years old. What do you guys think about that?
She take my money. That one song,
like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
He's very well known for not having a girlfriend over 23 or 24 or something like that.
Weird.
Do you think that's weird, or do you think it's because look?
You're 50, dog. Just get a 50-year-old girl and like sit down. What happened to Shay Shay, dog?
Okay, but
Shay Shay was all these. He was with all these young white girls. Mm-hmm. Not saying anything to the white girls. We love the white girls, okay? But it's what happened, bro. It's not the race or the culture or the ethnicity that matters. It's the fact that it's young. You should be with your age, essentially.
Should you really?
Yeah, bro. I think that's what's right. Okay, if it's like a 3-year, 5-year difference, but it's a serious relationship. There's Leonardo DiCaprio taking like transcripts, like, okay, 24. Sorry, you got to kick back.
Have you seen the chart? Somebody made like a full blown chart of like all of his exes and like the time he was with them and like once they turned 25.
I've seen that.
I mean, it's a very well known.
Every girlfriend that he has, as soon as they reach 25, you're exed. You're up out of here. My thoughts on that is it's kind of different for me because I'm already married. So like it's hard for me to even think about like I don't know, right? But if I was older, right, and I happened to be single, I would do what I do. And nobody's gonna tell me nothing.
Rich, like
I do what I do.
Yeah, you're gonna attract all these younger
Somebody's
women, bro. You're Leonardo. You're Leonardo DiCaprio,
right? Amen. I feel like everybody had a crush on Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Like Titanic.
Titanic like set him off.
What about right now though?
And still, I feel like that effect is still pulling strong on a lot of women. He can get whatever woman he wants.
Margot Robbie offered to show her private parts just because of Wolf of Wall Street. Because why? He's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Share this backstory. So she actually really showed?
She actually did.
Okay.
And she surprised him. She asked the director if it was okay.
Surprise.
And the director said yes.
And then he smashed. 1,000%.
1,000%.
That's hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you're Margot Robbie. Wolf of Wall Street, I believe, was her first, like, debut big type of movie.
That's a hell of a way to start, too.
Right, bro. That movie that's like one of my favorite movies. First of all, Martin Scorsese, one of my favorite directors ever, directed it too. But that movie, man.
So if I could kind of like, because we got a few different topics and different things to touch on, because we want to make a gang of social clips for y'all so we can just pump out a million. We're already in the film, television realm or whatever.
Right.
So I had been telling you for a long time. I believe I told you too, if I didn't, watch a movie on Netflix called Barbarian.
I have not yet seen it, but I promise you I'm going to watch it by this week.
Right.
I just need to set some time aside.
You didn't like it?
I mean, I like it. I was just trying to think. I'm trying to remember it because I watched it when it came out. It came out like a few years ago, right?
I don't know when it came out. I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah.
3 times.
I don't even remember.
So it's fresh in your memory,
yeah.
Huh? I just watched it once.
3 times. That's when you know it's a great movie, though. When you watch a movie over and over, like that's like Goodfellas, Casino, fucking Wolf of Wall Street. Like,
yeah.
The reason that what I enjoyed about it, especially as we've been getting into these film endeavors, is I start picking up on different things. So I like the scenes. Like, I'm going to describe things about the movie without spoiling it to none of you guys. What I liked about Barbarian is a lot of the color palettes that they use. Like when they're using like 2 or 3 colors in a scene, you know what I mean? Or in one frame, I mean to say. See, I'm getting my terminology.
I know. I'm proud of you. I like that.
Moses is like, it's not a scene, bro. It's called a frame.
I didn't want to say it, but
it's like I'm gonna say it out loud. It's not a frame.
It could be in a scene. It could be in a frame. It depends. But your color palette in just one frame of a scene is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because remember, a frame is just a frame of a camera angle pretty much.
Yes.
But you're learning and you color grade.
I do color grade.
Now
color
I'm proud of you.
Color graded.
That's right.
For all of your needs, contact your boy. So
Frontline Films, let's go.
Let's go. So the color palettes, I really anticipate, I like solving puzzles. So for me, a lot of movies, I can always predict where it's going. And in that movie, Barbarian, I wasn't able really to predict which direction it was going to go. And I really enjoyed that. And then happened to see that there was a trailer for a movie. Is it in theater still right now? Weapons?
So I literally saw that on, what day was it? Tuesday. I saw it Tuesday.
Same director, right?
Same director as Barbarians. I forgot his name. You know the name by chance?
No, I just know. Okay. I don't be knowing people's names. I don't be knowing a lot of stuff. I just know, but I don't know.
So I gotta watch Barbarian because I like the fact that you said like usually, because for me, and I know me and you are the same, Max. I don't know if you probably like this too, you as well. But when I watch a movie, I'm always like, okay, what's gonna happen? I know what's gonna happen. Like once I watch like the first 5 minutes, whatever, I'm like, oh, this is how it's gonna end. Very, that's just the way my brain works because I'm a writer too. You're a writer as well. I was watching Weapons and I was like, okay, like what's the purpose of this movie? Boom, boom. I don't really want to spoil it, but at the same time, I'm like, if you haven't seen it yet, it's kind of on you. But basically, I'm watching it, right? And it's going, and I'm like, okay, I understand this concept, this concept, this concept. I don't know how to understand how it's gonna end yet. I want to say probably like it took me like 25 minutes in to kind of understand how it would end, but I still couldn't predict it fully up until like the last 30 minutes of the movie,
Right.
which was dope. Because usually, like I said, I predicted within like 5-10 minutes, right? The last 30 minutes of the movie, I was still like, where's this kind of going? Where's this going? And then I was like, oh, this is what's happening.
Right.
And then like,
That's skillful writing.
yeah. And bro, it was great. I suggest to go watch it. It's a great movie, great concept. And then once you do watch it, we'll talk about it. Just like
I'll
any other
definitely
one.
check
So
that out.
we got to watch. We all got to watch Barbarian. Watch that one too.
You've seen it. What are your thoughts on like Barbarian? Like as far as, did you enjoy it? Was it predictable to you?
Definitely wasn't predictable. I really enjoyed it because there are a lot of movies that are not original. And so at least it was something new. I couldn't predict it. There was some breastfeeding in there and some motherly things that I found interesting watching the movie.
Disgusting.
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 Took the words out of my mouth.
Wait, yeah, like that's what you got out of it? The breastfeeding? That's,
We can't
Like,
even say
no,
watch this. Oh, you
listen.
haven't seen it, so
I
like,
mean, yeah,
just wanna
don't say
say-
why, yeah, but
because I don't think for everybody out there, I don't think their breastfeeding is disgusting. I'm saying like, go watch the
No.
movie.
what
and
happens?
you'll understand.
Okay, then we'll understand.
I'm
it.
trying to remember the movie. That was one of the things that stood out to me.
Yeah,
Maybe it was just
it
because
stood out for sure.
right. Because literally breastfeeding Uriah, my son. I don't know if that was the reason, but that is what stood out to me.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. I vaguely remember
it definitely
the
stood
other
out, but it was
aspects, but
ugh.
All right, so what's a movie here that everybody has seen? Let's go genre first. What do you guys want to talk about? Comedy?
comedy.
Drama.
I love comedies.
Okay, what's a good comedy?
Borat.
I feel like comedy's not even good anymore.
I agree.
Borat was
really
the best
not-
comedy movie ever.
Which one?
Which one?
Borat.
Borat is.
I don't think it gets better than Borat.
Best one, huh?
Borat's hilarious.
Borat. What's the other one he did that's hilarious? When he's Aladdin?
Yeah, but
That
Aladdin
was the
didn't have.
dictator. That was
Aladdin had like a couple of moments. Of Borat throughout the
I
whole
don't
thing, you're
know.
laughing. Maybe it was just
That's
closer
just
to my
hilarious.
humor.
Okay,
Yeah, for
what
me,
about, what's one of your favorite like comedy movies?
probably first of all, Django.
I was just about to say that.
Dang.
Like Django is so
I'm just
underrated.
surprised
as a
at
comedy.
how like, and then outside, like first of all, I've watched a lot of humorous movies, so I would just because I guess I'll say which one was it? Was it Harlem Nights?
That's my favorite. I was gonna say that next. Yeah, Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights is like I've
Love
cried
Harlem
watching
Nights.
that movie.
Right.
Like
So
laughing.
hilarious and a really classic comedy. Humor like comedies nowadays. I feel like it's a lot of slapstick, a lot of just
Man.
crude humor. And Harlem
It's just-
Nights.
Have you
cheesy.
seen this before?
Harlem Nights? I
Yeah.
haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Okay. Have you seen it before? Watch that one, bro.
It's a good one.
Hilarious.
Who's in that one? That's Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Yep.
That Richard Pryor's in it
Eddie
too,
Murphy.
right?
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence is in that, right?
No,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
is he in there?
Yeah,
Martin
Oh, no.
Lawrence? No.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
I meant
Richard Pryor.
Which one's the one with Eddie and Martin Lawrence?
That's
in it?
Life.
Life?
That movie is
Also
hilarious,
hilarious.
too.
Bro,
Right.
Eddie Murphy is the GOAT of fucking comedy and stand up. Like, you know who I met that says that too is Marlon Wayans, bro. Marlon Wayans.
Oh, I love Marlon.
Oh my
Wayans.
God. Marlon Wayans is such a good person to talk to. So funny. So like, what is he? He's like in his 50s now, I believe. But that
Damn,
first of all, that
getting
family in
old.
general, bro.
Oh yeah, so much
What they
talent in there.
did,
Mhm.
what they did for themselves, what they did for the comedic world, and what they did for others to put on. Talk
Yeah.
about
Like, they put on Jim Carrey, right?
they put on Jim Carrey.
Mhm.
They put on. I don't care what nobody says. A lot of people think that Diddy put on J Lo. No, they didn't. It was the
Yeah.
Wayans.
Right.
It was the Wayans that put J Lo on.
Yeah, no, they're for sure up there. On that aspect, there was two things that I kind of wanted to talk about as well. But just real quick, a comedian that I've been having my eyes on more right now is Gary Owens. You know who Gary Owens is?
I
I
know
have
Gary
to
Owens.
see him. How does he look?
I know Gary Owens from a Comic View,
right?
Yeah,
He's been around that long.
long
And
time.
so like I don't even think he's really been in any movies like that really. but he's been doing stand up the whole time. White boy or white man, right? Because he's older than all of us, but hilarious, bro. Like, and the whole thing about him is he performs at like black comedy clubs, and he'll have the whole crowd like busting up laughing.
The guy with the hat, right? He usually has a hat on.
No, he doesn't have a hat.
You're talking about the guy with the cowboy hat, huh?
No, he literally just has a snapback on.
No, I'm not sure who you're talking about.
That's the one that I think I know that goes to like the African American black.
I want to know who that
shit.
is because I feel like African American crowds are hard to please. Like, it's hard to get an African American crowd.
I feel like if you know the
Especially
humor,
like as a different race. Or
depends. I feel like if you just know the humor, you
just
have
in
to know
general,
the humor.
bro, like we are hard to get to laugh. So if
I don't think so.
I do. I've seen it.
I get what you're saying. I mean, if you get like a whitey McWhite white guy that's there, like, hey, so airplane food. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Like, you've heard of the Apollo before, right?
Yeah, it was nighttime at the Apollo or something.
Yeah, where all those people would come in and get booed off.
Yeah.
So we're vicious when it comes to critics.
yeah,
that's what I'm
true.
saying. Like,
I can see that.
yeah,
for sure.
I'm not saying it like
I love
a
hearing
gift. I'm
like
just saying.
like Joe Rogan when he talks about that, because he was in that world in what was it, like the 90s, when comedy was just everything.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, everything, all art, I feel like was better in the 90s.
For sure.
Everything, even sports, people were more about like performing and legacy. Nowadays, you got Jake Paul about to fight Tank.
Like,
Oh my
that's
God.
not, bro. That is how, like,
I'm not mad at
and
him,
you're
though, but I'm just
no,
like,
it's gonna,
this is the world we're in today.
Yeah,
so.
it's gonna, the numbers are gonna be there for sure. Like, they're
Oh, yeah,
gonna make
they're gonna
stupid
kill it,
money,
bro.
but still, like, if end of this, it makes no sense.
They're gonna
You're
make a bag. That's
That
what they're
was
gonna
what,
do.
like 6'2", Tank's like 5. He's probably like my height or something.
And I still put my money on Tank.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying.
it's like when Mayweather fought his brother.
Right. And he really, like,
He didn't
what's the
go all
word
out.
I'm looking for? He carried him the whole fight.
Yeah.
If anybody, because I actually, people were telling me like, oh, he got Mayweather. I'm like, bro,
No,
then
he
you
did
never
not.
watched fighting before.
Yeah.
Mayweather carried him like the whole way through. One thing that I definitely wanted to, honestly, we haven't filmed in so long, and there's so many things that have been passing by that I'm like, man, I want to talk about this or bring attention to this. Has anybody heard the new Freddie Gibbs album?
Yeah, with the Alchemist.
Freddie
How do you feel about that?
I like one of the songs too.
That album,
I just
fire.
the beats are too calm for me, bro. I like Future. I'm on that tip right now, bro.
And I can understand that.
So it's more of like the old school type of like 90s.
The beats are just too calm, but like the verses and everything, I'm like, oh, if this is under another beat, this could have probably went crazy. They're not bad beats. I'm just not into those beats. That's what I'm trying
That's
to
what I
say.
mean.
Because
Yeah,
Alchemist
and I understand
he's talented. He's cool, but just not my.
Well,
type.
you know what's funny is that I'm not even the biggest fan, and I'm not saying this from like a hating perspective, because like what I'm saying is we all have our genre of whatever subgenre of whatever genre we listen to that we gravitate more towards. And I haven't usually gravitated towards like Alchemist so much. But man, I felt like personally listening to this has just been like the perfect blend for me ever. I thought every like damn near every track on that album was like perfect. I didn't have to skip anything. Maybe it just because of like where I'm at in my life and the experiences that I had as I've gotten older. I can't even digest music the way that I used to anymore. The things that I used to like take in and I really feel it, like it kind of like disgusts me nowadays as I'm getting older. And so not to say that this album had like positive, the whole album is, Freddie Gibbs is always talking about selling dope, taking somebody else's woman. But it was just like real smooth, real player, like, and it was just sonically for me, I was like, yeah, this is what I need right now. So I've been listening to that. If you have not had the opportunity, I would highly recommend people to go check it out. For me, Freddie Gibbs is like a real rapper. And so like being a rapper myself too, I can appreciate that when you can tell somebody took their time with it. You know, I can tell Alchemist took his time with the beat, with the production. And I can tell Freddie Gibbs took his time with his lyrics and his delivery and everything and the features on there. You know who I've never listened to, I've heard a lot about, but I just personally never got around to him, was JID.
Oh, Jid.
And he's on that.
He's good.
He's on
He's
that.
pretty
No, he
good.
got off, bro.
He has bars.
He's on that album, and in the song he's on, he got off. I was like, damn, what was this nigga's getting off, right?
Yeah. He's
Um,
from New Orleans, I believe.
I'm not sure.
I think he's from New Orleans.
I don't know
if
where he's
recall.
from, but he's not. His verses,
Dope,
his bars, they're all on point.
And
You can
Larry-
tell he knows how to write. Like he's spitting. He's not just saying like
He has workout.
splash.
He has workout music.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get, bro. I'm not like, it's not an offense if you're hearing this, bro, or anybody else. There's a lot of artists who are like fire. I just haven't gotten around to listen to you because I have too much going on in my life. You know,
Straight up.
Larry June is on there. Larry June is always a hit.
Yeah, Larry June's a banger.
He's like real original. He has a real original vibe. I don't compare him to nobody else. And that's like one of my favorite tracks on there. It's the one that's featuring Larry June. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that for my music heads out there. If you're looking for something new to listen to and you can tolerate calmer music, more like relaxing and cruising music, this will be the album for you.
It's literally that. The funny thing is, believe it or not, the Armenian community very much fucks with Larry June,
Yeah.
but only one of his albums.
Which one?
The one, have you heard the one where it's like re-up? I gotta re-up after re-up. Armenians would smash that shit, bro, all over the place. We love that shit, bro.
Yeah.
And when I remember that, I think that album came out in 2016. Yeah, we fucked with that album, bro. Like, it's a slapper. Then he kind of switched up his styles. He's still good. He still has some bangers here and there, but re-up was a banger. It's like a banger of all bangers of the album. But today we're gonna do something I like to call rant of the day. It keeps the doctor away. So for you who don't know what rant of the day is, it's pretty much like hitting a punching bag, shooting a Glock. You're releasing the tension, saying what needs to be said, so you're a little bit calmer. Sadly, today I do not have a very funny rant of the day. It's not too sad, but it just needs to be said. Today's rant is delusional people. We all know them. We all deal with them. Some of them are actually family. Some of them are friends. But here's the thing. The thing with delusional people is...
Stop saying you're in a relationship with me. You're not.
See this, dog. Good example, though. Good example,
While
dog.
he stared at his crotch.
Hop up. Yeah, straight
On
up.
his live.
And I wasn't even a girl, dog. That was like a homeboy or something, dog. But it's, hey, dog, we call it brotherly love.
It was G Money.
That fool. But here's the thing. We have to deal with them every day. And here's the thing. There's no point in arguing with them. There's no point in fighting with them. If they're a good person, they can be a good person and be delusional at the same time. There's a lot of people like that. Just let them stay in their delusional confounds and you stay in your reality-based confound. That's all I have to say. Something that I just wanted to get out. There's no point in arguing with delusional people. Me, myself, I love sometimes, not always, but I like getting into deep conversations, arguments, debates here and there once in a while. Not all the time because I'm not bored of my life.
You?
Nah, for once in a while, dog. Whenever the mood is.
That.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, fool. That's what I'm saying, dog. But yeah, there's no point in wasting your time because you're only gonna be the bad person at the end of it. That's what I've noticed. You're always gonna be the bad person at the end of it, and that delusional person is never even gonna know what the hell just cracked. And that whole time span. So not a happy one today, not a funny one. Usually I'm hitting in with a hilarious, like people are dying listening to my rant of the day, but today was just a little serious one because we're gonna switch it up.
Cheers, guys. Can we all give a little cheers real quick? Cheers.
My
to
cup's
the
empty already. I'm already.
See, you should have
sipped
poured
it over.
You should have poured up halfway through.
I did, and then I took it down.
I have a great topic right now.
Go
You
ahead.
guys ready?
You got some or you want
Oh yeah. Line me.
Here's the topic right now. What was your guys' drink in high school? Because I'm 30. Max, you're what? How old are you now? He probably doesn't want to say his age. He's 45.
47.
Okay, 47.
Agent 47.
Agent 47.
Agent
Oh
47.
no, he's 47 because of 47. I got you. I seen what you did right there. I like how you.
It's crazy.
Well,
That's crazy how like
and to the live too, what was
subconsciously
your
I
drink in
just
high
did that.
school?
But all right, it's cool. It's cool.
So yeah, what was everybody's drink in high school? Who wants to start? Like where did
We'll
you
let
go?
the elder start.
I am an elder, 38 years old.
Okay.
So in high school, I was way too good and I did not drink.
What?
But in college, I did, of course, come in hot with the adios. That's where I started drinking adioses, and then out at clubs by the university, downtown Fullerton, and kind of at home. What is it? Mad Dogs? No, it wasn't Mad Dogs.
MD 2020.
What is that? What was the can?
Oh no, that was in the glass. The Mad Dogs were in the glass bottle.
Yeah, what was the can?
The Four Locos.
Four Locos.
Four Locos.
That
Where
was
did
the
they-
one.
But
So,
it had to be the original recipe. They changed the recipe now.
I don't know.
It's more deadly.
Oh
was
no
a long time ago,
Yeah,
but-
the original one was deadly, bro. It was like drinking like insane amount of alcohol in a can on top of pre-workout.
Right.
It was like that mixed with C4.
Right.
It was insane. You drink 2 of those, you're blacked out.
I literally could never make it through a can. Before my can was gone, I was knocked out. Blacked out. Like I could never finish a can.
Hey, and then we were saying, shout out to homie Jay right now. You were saying earlier Jaeger. My boy right now says yours was Jaeger. Hell yeah, it was. Drinking Jaeger back in high school and a little bit after, it was Jaeger bombs. So you mix Jaeger with Monster.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And it was the shit. And till this day, like I'll let the homies know. I'm like, hey, are we having that type of weekend? Are we having that type of night? Yeah. All right, cool. I'm getting some Jaeger.
God
Yeah.
And they'll be like, chill out, dog.
Yeah.
And what do you do under Jaeger, dog? Because cognac can either make you crazy or can make you mellow.
It just, you know what they call me? They call me the wanderer because I landed up just wandering off and just doing my own thing.
What's that one song? Dun, 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 dun. And he walks off.
Definitely Jaeger makes you wiser. Like
I don't know
Jaeger
about that.
just puts a fire in your chest.
I don't
was an
know if
insane
any
plan.
alcohol
Get you
makes you
through
wiser.
the winter. Like if it's cold and you drink some Jaeger, you're gonna start a furnace inside of your
How many
Get arrested?
midterms have you completed on Jaeger?
2.
Oh.
And what was your
grade?
grades?
Not expecting that answer.
Senior year in
But I'll take
college is when I got onto Jaeger, and I was actually really shocked that, like, wow.
I personally am not a fan of Jaeger because I do not like black licorice, and that's exactly what Jaeger tastes like.
I just don't like the
It
name,
really
so I'm not
doesn't,
going to touch
though.
it.
I've had
tastes
black licorice.
I've had it too. That's
does
how I got the
not- I don't-
reference.
it
It
does
literally
I don't think it tastes like
exactly like black licorice.
Really?
But you know what the key is? Because Jaeger and root beer are derived from the same ingredient. I didn't know that. But when you put Jaeger and root beer together, I don't like Jaeger, I don't like root beer. Together, they cancel each other out, and it's amazing.
Root beer actually does
That's
cancel out
what-
good. It's like apple juice and Hennessy. Cheers again,
Then,
guys.
yeah, so
Shout out to
Jaeger-
Moses bringing the tiniest bottles of apple juice.
Hey.
I brought nothing.
Yeah, for real. What did you
Just the
bring,
one who
motherfucker?
hated it. He brought nothing to the.
Hey, you brought
Hey,
your
we
sister.
got a
What do you
homie who
mean?
used to show up to my crib. He didn't bring no weed. He just showed up with blunts, like
Wow.
blunt
That's
wraps.
And those are the homies that are always waiting on you like, hey, you're going to put something in these raps or
And
what, bro?
I had to tell him one day, like, hey, my dog, this is the last day you're showing up with a blunt because I can get these blunts myself.
That's straight up.
Bro, show up with some weed or something, or show up with blunts and money, and then we can get out. You know,
Mhm.
this is back in the day, though. You know, I feel like when you're younger, it's more of a dog eat dog world, and it's like you got to look out for you, and it's like, bro, we ain't old enough to be looking out for each other. You're supposed to be showing up with some. You know, nowadays as you get older, you realize I look out for my people. So it's like you come around. You know, for example, Max. When I'm around Max, he and his people will not allow you to like really pay for anything a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
if you
We literally have to put the
befriend
money in their
Max.
fucking
No, I'm just
pockets.
playing. I was like, so befriend Max. No, but that's maturity, and that's like cultural maturity is what I want to say. Like you always want to be kind to your guests, to the people that are around. So nowadays,
Sick ass podcast.
if that homie who was showing up with the blunt wraps, if you're watching it right now, you don't have to show up with nothing, bro. I'll let you just come through. But at the time, that was wildly inappropriate.
It's not the right thing.
What is it? Shit, fuck
Yo,
it.
Let me talk about my. Hold on one second. Let me talk about my drink real quick.
Oh yeah. Well,
Where did I start off? So I started off thinking I was never gonna drink alcohol, and then I get into the gang life.
how old? But how old are you?
At the time, I probably was either like 14 or 15.
Drinking, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, I thought I wasn't really going to be a drinker.
Why? But why did you think that you were never going to be a drinker? Was it like family stuff? Was it
because
just,
I'm not really like nobody's going to really like peer pressure me into anything.
you know what I realized too? I think it was the shows that we used to watch. Remember the shows that we used to watch, like Boy Meets World, Saved by the Bell, fucking Even Steve. Like they always had a message. The shows today, I feel like they don't have a message.
I don't know how you segue that from drinking alcohol because I watch those same shows and I'm an alcoholic. But,
Well, I mean, look, yeah.
but yeah, sure. Moses, no.
All right. So what was the drink that you wanted to start off with? 14, 15 years old.
I just, first of all, I started off with the worst beer possible, Bud Ice.
I was gonna say Miller Lite, but Bud Ice is even
No, I said
worse.
the worst.
Yeah.
The worst, right? So I'm around my gang, crew, whatever you want to call it at the time. And I'm the youngest. And so like everybody's pounding 40s or whatever. And they're like, here, pound this. And I'm just like, well, I got to now. I ain't no Mark. So
I'm punking out.
that was a good save over there. Y'all didn't see it off camera, but I got to see something. Y'all didn't see it.
Is he Spider-Man?
He is.
Type shit.
Damn.
Armenian man.
Hey, Jay said he remembers you pulling up with tall cans.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm like, Jay, nigga, you know how many people's names start with J? Who's Jay?
Jordan Kava.
I know. So anyways, when I started, it was more of like, I don't want to say it's period, like they didn't pressure me hard, but I did it. And here's a funny story is that I didn't get into a lot of fights in my youth, and because I'm confident in my hands or whatever. On this day, the first day that I really drank, I got drunk, bro, like super drunk. Now the whole time that I'm kicking it with my homies, right? We find out that our enemies are at a party, right? Like a couple of blocks away. And everybody like is like we need to go over there. We need to go over there, right? The whole time, everybody's like, "Hi, yeah, we're gonna go over there, right?" We don't end up going. We're just pounding. Once everybody gets plastered, somebody's like, "Yeah, we got to go over there." So now we go plastered, bro. I'm in the back seat, like driving over there like this. And I'm thinking in my head, like, man, this is gonna be the first day I lose a fight. I am gone, bro. Like, and thank God, right? It's not even like that those enemies were tough or anything like that. Thank God they were gone, bro, because I was loaded.
Twisted. Bro. And then when you're at that age too and young and you first start drinking, that's when you get the spins.
Yeah. I use a whole different type of drink. Nowadays, I just black out and fall asleep. We don't spin nothing, bro. I'm either awake or present.
That's present, not passed out right now.
Oh yeah. No, I've been sipping light. So anyways, let me speed through this because I want to hear your guys' answers. It was Bud Ice. And then when I moved on to the Millers, and then from that point, Mexican homie, I don't even remember the dude's name, introduced me to Sapporo, and I thought it was nasty when I started sipping it, but once I got a buzz off of it, that's now officially my beer.
I was just about to
I'm
that's
sponsored by Sapporo. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Beer and then alcohol, Douce. All right, that's it. Go ahead. Pass along.
Wait, what are we saying? Like our drunkest stories?
No. I mean,
I just always got a story for no reason.
I gotta pick one.
Dog, mine was nothing crazy. I have multiple of those, but I started off on like vodka, bro, like just straight vodka, like Armenian shit.
Very
we started
Armenian,
doing tequila, yeah, bro. Vodka was our thing, and then Mike knows, bro. We were doing like the homie's grandpa had a stash of moonshine. Not gonna say
my God.
It's one of the mics, one of the other mics. We have multiple mics. We have a lot of mics, but he had a stash, bro, of moonshine vodka. I'm talking about mango moonshine vodka. I'm talking about like pears, bro. He had like the craziest shit you can think of: blackberry moonshine, vodka, apples, bro. Like, bro. And we would go open up the stash. We would sleep over at the homies at his grandpa's crib, and his grandpa was an OG, bro, like OG in the Armenian community, very well known, like entrepreneur. Just he was that guy. He was Himothy, R.I.P. But yeah, he had this crazy stash, and we would always go in the back and just like real quick take something out. We would start, and bro, you just need a shot of this shit, bro, and you're dead.
How old were you when you get on these moonshine and vodka endeavors?
I think we were like already like probably 14-ish too type shit getting there. But I mean, I started sipping at like 11, 12, bro. Lightly, like, cause it's prevalent in Armenian culture, like how Mexican culture is. You know how it is when you sit down, you crack out a bottle and then you got the food, but it's like you're taking shots. But for Armenians, it's different. We don't just take shots. Like no one's taking singular shots. Every shot is accounted for, and there's a cheers that said, like a toast that said to it.
Yeah.
This one's to family. This one's to friendship. This one's to wealth. This one's to health. And we go, that's how you go. It's like a respectful thing. It's like they made it into like a little, it's an organized thing. Just a little fun fact about the Armenian culture. But yeah, it was vodka, bro. Vodka, then tequila. Then I got tired of tequila, hopped on whiskey. Now I don't care for none of them. But if I am going to have like I said, I'm about to go to France. If I do have a drink, may have like a little whiskey, bro. A little whiskey. I do fuck with Moscow mules here and there. But like, nah, I'm not
that's
into
my
none
favorite,
of that crazy.
That's my favorite like mixed drink. Yeah.
Moscow mule is good. I don't like it when they mix too much shit, bro. If you're putting...
I prefer whiskey straight.
Yeah, I do too. If I get whiskey, I don't get a sour. I don't get an old fashioned, none of that. Macallan, 12 or 15 year. If I'm feeling good, an 18 year. Double ice, and I'm pounding that.
I do want to get into some politics and things that I've been seeing, but before I get into that, I also want to get into some some things of interest that maybe some people have been hearing about, aren't too knowledgeable on or whatever. And I have somebody here who is very knowledgeable on this. I would consider her very knowledgeable because she's far more knowledgeable than I am. Us being Christian with a Christian background, as you look through your Bible, you see that there are 66 books in there. And then there is this thing called the Book of Enoch. Have you heard of it?
Of course.
Moses, we spoke on this a little bit.
Yeah, for the
Non-canonical.
audience, I've heard of the book, but I don't know nothing about it.
Okay. So the reason I have never personally seeked out or read the Book of Enoch is because the Bible in itself, to me, is so sacred because of the impact that it's actually had on my life. I've looked at it like if this is all that I have to read and I've applied this to my life, it's been so great in my life as far as, shout out to Hector, personal growth, as far as how you treat other people and whatever else is the case. When I got older and I heard about this Book of Enoch, there's a lot of controversy around it as far as like, don't read it. It's not of God. You don't need it. And my sister, her husband, they actually have taken the time to read it. Recently, after going on to like my number one tool is ChatGPT, right? Whatever AI people like to use, because I can search up information. I can ask questions quicker. And I asked pretty much, are there any contradictions between the Book of Enoch and the rest of the Bible? ChatGPT, it says that there is, but then when it gives you what those supposed contradictions are, they're not real contradictions. And so I'm like, that's interesting. Because if you're telling me that there's something that fits into the Bible, but it doesn't contradict with anything, then, that could be of interest. And so what are your thoughts after reading the book? I know that there's other books too, right? Not just the Book of Enoch.
Right.
And what are they called altogether?
They're not called anything altogether.
Like something with an A, some word like
It's the Lost Gospels.
Apocrypha, something like
that's what you. So yeah, they do have like a collection name. I see what you're saying, but I haven't read every book in the so-called Apocrypha or
right.
The Book of Enoch. People tend to say that it's a pseudepigrapha, which means the author is not the author that is attributed to the work or something like that. They say that book Enoch was written by Enoch, but people argue that it wasn't written by him. That's why they call it a pseudepigrapha.
Right. All the books in the Bible were not necessarily written by the person that.
Correct. Like all the first 5 books, they say Moses wrote them, but people say he didn't actually write them. There were scribes that wrote, and you can go down that path. So
let me ask you something to direct it more, and so that we don't go into a full blown like Bible study. But when what's a common thing in the 66 books of the Bible that you're familiar with that you feel like in the Book of Enoch, it kind of relates to that and gives more insight on it? What is something of interest that you could share?
Well, for me, Genesis 6, if you're not familiar, Genesis chapter 6 talks about the fallen angels coming down, taking wives, producing Nephilim and giants and men of renown. And that is definitely an interesting topic, I feel like, for anybody to hear. Giants in the land, fallen angels coming down.
100%.
You're going to have a lot of questions and you want to hear more. And growing up myself, and you would know, we have our stepfather is a pastor. And I would ask him about this topic. And he would say that the fallen angels didn't come down and lay with women, that, they had another explanation, which never sat quite right with me. And that curiosity, kept me digging and to find the Book of Enoch, which goes into more detail about the fallen angels. Genesis 6, them coming down, giving mankind knowledge. And it's also interesting when you look into the canon of the Bible, which is why we have the 66 books in our current Bible here in America. It's because of the canon, and there were certain rules that they put into place to say these books are going into the Bible and these books aren't. And some of those rules, one of the main ones, at least, that took the Book of Enoch out of the canon was contradictions. If there's contradictions in a work that goes against what is in the Bible, then scholars.
But like what? But I'm sorry for cutting you off. But like, what would the contract? Because I never saw it.
And that is, what I was going to get to is that, like you said, there really are no contradictions in the Bible and the book of Enoch.
Can I just, sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
But I think the contradiction that you're talking about, the only contradiction is the Messiah, which went against the Torah, right? Which went against the more of the Jewish thought of how the Messiah was supposed to be. And it sounded more closely to Christ than what they thought it would be or wanted it to be. That's the contradictions I've heard with the book of Enoch. I have the book of Enoch, and I have I think 8 of the lost gospels, Mary, Joseph, Judas, which is a crazy one, which is I'm pretty sure you've seen. If you know about it, then you know. It's very interesting. Now, how much can you believe? How much can you not believe? Because some of them are agnostic as well. So it's an interesting topic, but I feel like you understand it. But I just wanted to real quick throw in that tidbit in too.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's not a contradiction. When you look up and people will say, "Hey, there's a contradiction," and my brother brought up a good point because ChatGPT says there's contradictions. And when he looks to see let me see this contradiction, it's actually not a contradiction. And a lot of times in the past, it was just information that didn't go with the narrative church leaders were trying to push, or some ideas that they didn't agree with. And that was enough for them to say the book of Enoch is not going to be included in what they consider the Bible. But there are, like, the oldest Bible we have is the Ethiopian Bible, which does include
Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah, and the Dead Sea Scrolls exactly has the book of Enoch in it.
See, that's what's interesting. That I've always been interested in the book of Enoch and like all the lost gospels. Like, why did it get taken out, and why was it in the Dead Sea Scrolls in the first place? If the Ethiopian, because the Ethiopian church is apostolic, right? If I'm not wrong, like it was taught. Like the word is brought straight from the disciples,
right?
Yeah, the apostles, the disciples.
I believe so.
They're the same as Armenians. I think that's what they're saying. The Ethiopian and the Armenian church are pretty much the same thing. I mean, the apostolic is apostolic. I'm sure because of regions, it may be a little different. But I forgot his name, but they said that God took him off earth, and he's the one who wrote Enoch, right?
Yeah.
Enoch. Wow, that was dumb of me, but. His story is interesting.
Yeah,
it's very what happened to him.
Is that what the book is about? Him?
No, he's writing. It's his account. Supposedly God took him to heaven.
Anybody correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding, when you read the 66 books of the Bible, it doesn't even talk so much about Enoch, but it does mention he's the only person who just went to be with God. He was walking so perfectly.
He walked with God.
He walked with God, and God just took him. Mm-hmm. So there's no.
So he's literally like the perfect.
He's
person
never
ever.
died. No, Jesus is the perfect person ever. But Enoch would be like, listen. I'm only a man, a human being. I as wise as some people like to say that they think that I am. I don't look at myself that way, and I know I don't know everything. And there's a lot in the Bible that I'm trying to come to terms with of understanding, but I love the Bible. I love the direction it's put my life in. I can't say for a fact, but how I interpret it is that Enoch never died. He was the only person in the Bible who never died. Like God,
he was a human being.
He was a human being. This is in the Bible. This is not somewhere, some far off thing. The book of Enoch is something separate.
He was in Genesis, no? Enoch was in Genesis.
It's in Genesis.
Okay, so this is kind of confusing me a little bit because I don't know nothing.
Very
about the
confusing.
Yeah, because so you're saying Enoch was in the Bible, but there's a separate book
called Enoch.
So why is it called Enoch? Is that have to do with that same person?
The book of Enoch, no? So like how there's a book of Matthew.
Right. So you have all these books in the Bible that were not written by the person whose name it is. Right. And I don't know how that works. I don't know what all that is.
But didn't Matthew write Matthew?
I don't know.
Someone said,
okay, if you're saying it like that, then I completely understand.
The whole book.
Someone said, so the oldest,
we love this book, Jesus Christ. You ever heard of him? Have you seen that one where he says that?
Wait.
Yes.
What did he say?
We know Jesus Christ, bro. We've heard of him. Of course.
So someone said, so the oldest Bibles have dates for deaths except for Enoch.
Interesting. Shout out to whoever said that.
Who said that? So we can shout them out.
Shout out Jay.
Jay, is that the homie that
Hey, man.
complimented your crotch?
Hey, leave some for the rest of us.
That was somebody else. That was somebody else.
Okay, good. Okay,
No,
good.
shout out Jay. Hey,
Nah, shout out,
right
being
here.
knowledgeable on that.
Supporting you.
Shout out Jay-Z.
It's you know, the scripture is something that we should all dive into, study,
Of course.
and we should learn from one another. I love coming across other people who from different cultures, different backgrounds, and they give me their insight on it. The reason I wanted to bring up the book of Enoch, though, is just because, you know, in these times, we need to be really invested in reading and understanding why God put us here. Everybody here right now is a Christian. We don't always have a full panel of Christians. Everybody here is a Christian. And so the day and age that we're in, the way you have to navigate through the world, we're followers of Christ. And so we have to understand better. The crazy thing about the Bible, which most people like seem to not understand, is that we believe that Jesus Christ is in the New Testament. Actually, Jesus Christ is in the Old Testament. He's throughout the whole book. There's so many signs and so many things that point to him coming. And then when he came, if you really were knowledgeable, then you could see he fit every narrative of every prophecy, everything like that. I just wanted to tap on that real quick.
Yeah.
We'll have my sister back again to talk about the book of Enoch.
We should just have an episode literally where we can sit down and dive deep on
I'm
these
with that.
things, because it's honestly very interesting and a lot of people do want to get to the bottom of it. So we're going to have to do a lot of studies for sure. But then we come ready, prepared.
Yeah.
And we have that episode where we're just straight talking Book of Enoch, the Lost Gospels, questions. We can go on live and get questions from people. And we can.
Goodfellas, Martin Scorsese.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
I'm
Where
with
did that
all
come
of
in
that.
from?
I don't want to take up too much of everybody else's time, but I do want to jump on, if you guys don't mind.
I mind. I know what you want to jump on.
Okay. So
Leave him alone, okay? He's not that bad, all right?
I'm going to start off with, a personal, something that I'm dealing with. So first of all, to anybody watching this, you may have many different reasons why you want to start a podcast. I believe that these two gentlemen right here, when we started this podcast, when we were coming up with the name, we were coming up with topics and everything we wanted to do, it was clear to me that we all had something that we wanted to get out. And so I love when I hear Max's personal stories. I love when I hear Moses' personal stories or whatever. For me, today's tale is something that has to do with my children. So my kids, my oldest, I'm a father of 5. That's right. God has really been blessing you, boy. My two oldest, I want to say maybe for like the past like 5 or 6 years of their life, I'm over here looking at Moses. That's how you know I'm drunk. I'm looking at his cell phone like this is my camera. My camera's over there.
Hey, shout out Nikki though. shout out Nikki from Frontline. She just joined.
There you go. What's up? What's cracking, Nikki?
We're back, Nikki. So get ready to post.
You know,
Get ready to post, Nikki.
So
Love you, cuz.
my kids for like the past 5 or 6 years, it's different when you grow up around amongst your own people. Like if you're Black and you go to like a school that's primarily Black. If you're Hispanic, you go to school primarily Hispanic. Armenian, school is primarily Armenian, whatever race you are, right? But it's different when you are of a race and you attend a school where you are the minority there. Things become difficult. And I feel like this is something that's not talked about enough. I grew up primarily in Alhambra, and the Black population there has been like slim to none, right? Okay, she did too, so she can attest to that. There's a lot of confusion that comes from that because you don't have the support of your people, that blind support where it's just like, we're going to support you no matter what. In actuality, what you receive is a lot of discrimination and hating. My kids, you know, it really, I consider myself like a real soldier, real tough guy. But like one thing that really like gets under my skin or really like bothers me is watching my kids have to deal with racism, right? And so it comes in the form of kids are going to be kids. You know, you're going to crack jokes against one another. You're going to do things like that. But for, like I said, like 5-6 years of my kids' life, it's been tough for them coming home and asking me like, why do people keep bringing up our race? I think it's funny because I've heard a lot of people say like, racism is not real. All you got to do is not talk about it, not think about it, and it won't exist. I'm telling you right now, when you have Black kids and your kids are coming home every day telling you like, yeah, somebody called me the N-word today. A bunch of kids threw bananas at me today.
Was that your kids
Yes.
In today's world?
This is actually a real story. I'm not making this up. I'm not
Really?
giving you examples.
That's pretty wild that that's happening in today's world with.
Thank you. You hear that, you little kids? We pulling up on you.
You got a live audience.
Tough. I got the best body shop owners pulling up. Anyways, no, but so
That's crazy, bro.
But for real, like this is something that I feel like, you know, we all as different cultures, we live in our own different bubbles, and we like to believe that other people aren't going through something because we're not going through it. And I got into podcasting primarily because I wanted to share truths. I wanted to verbally share this with you. I didn't want to have to type out MLA format essays to tell you what's going on. So my kids are dealing with this, and I'm going to segue this into what our government is currently doing as far as what I feel like is an attack on Blackness, is what I would like to call it, or attack on African Americanness, however you want to word this. There's been a lot of attacks on the Smithsonian museums, which I find strange, right? Because first of all, I love everybody, but I find it weird. Like I would never suggest, hey, we need to go to the Japanese American Museum and we need to lighten this up some. Like we don't need to say how really bad it was for them. We don't need to go to the Mexican American Museum and be like, hey, you guys, we don't need to talk about how bad this was for them. We don't need to go to no culture. Especially, you know what museum I did go to because I'm not even a museum goer. I went to the Museum of Suffering, I think it's called, which is actually a Holocaust museum.
You mean the Museum of Tolerance?
Look how stupid I am. Yes. The Museum of Tolerance, right?
It's all right, bro. I got you.
No, thank you, man. You know,
I've been there. Yeah,
two brain cells just fighting
bro,
for a little bit of intelligence I got going on.
No, I feel you, bro. That museum is insane.
But my point is, I would never suggest going there and being like, hey, this is so bad. We need to calm this down.
No, true.
What I can't understand is why in today's society, it really bothers me. Like why there's this push for like, hey, we have to kind of simmer down on this Black American history. Like, no. We need to not let them know how bad the transatlantic slavery was. We don't need to let them know that we were literally eating Black people too. Sounds wild, don't it? Right? I didn't know this. We don't need to let them know we were making shoes out of Black slave skin. We don't need to do this. We need to whitewash this whole history, this whole environment and everything. The reason I started this off talking about my kids is because when you do that, when you take away how harsh these realities were, then you have kids growing up thinking that it's okay to talk to Black kids like this, right? So for me, it's a trillion things we could talk about political. I just wanted to highlight this attack, was what I call it, on Blackness all across the board. And I only mention the museums. I can mention 10 other things. I'm not expecting everybody to have to, if you don't care to chime in, that's fine. I just wanted to bring this up for our platform. Do you have anything you wanted to?
Definitely. I feel like, of course, as a Black woman, as a Black person, just a woman, there's a large aspect of life and what we deal with and suffering that is marginalized, and we're expected to just, hush up. Nobody wants to hear you're a victim. Stop the victim mentality, pick yourself up, and you just kind of hush up about it. People really don't want to hear or care about Black suffering. And it's sad in a sense, in one aspect, I try to look at the best side of everything, but, I feel like growing up in America and just living in America has made the Black society, Black people so tough. We have to have a tough skin to be here, because not only are people of other races criticizing your own race. I feel like for myself, even Black people would criticize me for not being Black enough, growing up in Alhambra,
right.
Hearing that I talked white, or, I'm not Black and this and that, and having to try to prove myself in that aspect. And then in the same time with my teachers and principals, police officers, getting treated negatively and having to fight that aspect. and nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear my story and say, hey, how were you treated today? You just deal with it and you move on about your life. And even hearing you as a father talking about your children, your kids and their suffering is, it's so interesting because you don't really hear that very much, and not as much as you should. I feel like Black people, like I know and Black people go through things like that, all the time, and it's not really anything new because we're used to it. But other people aren't used to that, and they maybe don't hear it. And probably because we are so used to it that it's not put up like, hey, you guys, it's not a big deal. But there is definitely a crazy dynamic going on where Black suffering is like, not accepted. Meanwhile, white suffering or, Jewish suffering, is like, you cannot ignore it. And if you, are opposed to it, you're just the most evil person ever. And so there is some aspect that people can't relate to. You relate to what you experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I do think that I'm happy that you're sharing this topic because this is a topic that I feel like is always affecting my life. I'm sure like yours too. And we really just don't talk about it very much because it's just so normal that it's not even worthy to bring light to it.
The last thing I'm gonna say, because I'll make it really quick. Man, I'm so hard. Like I can't, not in a gay way. I'm so hard. Like
This
you know what I'm saying? Like
So made it like a nice.
Hey, that's my job to say that.
Yeah. Moses supposed to do the perp shit over here.
the wrong people in this room for that version of me. But what I'm saying is like I'm like bulletproof, and things don't affect me. Quick 10-second story. I've been driving down the street doing well. Somebody drove by honking their horn and called me a nigger, and I laughed because I was doing well, so I don't care, right? But it's a whole different story when it's your kids though. Mm-hmm. And that's when you realize like, dang, like they didn't go through what I went through. So I don't even know if they're going to grow up to even be as tough as I am. I don't know if they'll ever develop this wall that I've developed. And why did I have to develop this wall?
Right.
Because I don't impose that on anybody else. I don't go out. Nobody watching this show, and I know the whole world is watching right now. This is the most streamed podcast ever. I know everybody's watching, but nobody could ever say that Javon ever made you feel bad about your race. So why do I gotta develop thick skin? And now, because I didn't care about that, why do my kids gotta do it? And this is a common story amongst Black families where it's a lot of us that are tough. No, we're not victims. No, we don't care. But am I not supposed to care about my kids? Do you want your kid to go into an environment and have to fight extra battles that you see other little kids not having to fight and things like that? And I want to be clear. This is not exclusive to Black people. I am aware that you could be almost any race. And if you are the minority of where you are, you can be discriminated against, and it's tough and it's difficult because you're outnumbered and you don't have that support. So you could feel this as an Armenian. You could feel this as a Mexican person. You could even feel it as a white person. It's not like that, what I'm trying to say. But we got to do better. And I just feel like, me personally, I don't want anything but to be left alone. Just leave me alone. Just leave my kids alone. Let me just walk down the street without being harassed or whatever. And I'm good. And I just feel like the government is not helping. That's all I was gonna say. Go ahead.
As a third African American here, I must chime in.
That's right.
If for the people who don't know, I am 1% African American. So legally, I can say the word, but I don't because I have respect. Legally.
Stupid.
Hey, bro, legally by African American law, legally, I can keep a high top fade like Steve Harvey in 2001. I do not do that either. I like the slick back, dog. But here's the thing. There is racism, obviously.
Right.
It's a slight form of it. It's not like how it used to be. It's lighter. But like you said, there's things that I cannot relate to you, the life that you've lived or the life you guys lived as African Americans. Because as we know, even though I do have that 1%, which is just literal. I'm not like capping over here. Javon knows this, scientifically proven. What was it, 23andMe? Something like that. 23andG for me. The skin color, as they say, there's this one gay word, like white passing. I forgot who said that on the show, and I was like about to like break off the thing. I'm like, because you don't know my soul. I'm like, don't be talking about what I'm passing.
James Brown every morning.
Yeah, I wake up like, and I'm fucking doing all that shit. I'm like, don't be talking about. Yeah.
He be sleeping on the door.
I be hitting the white face, and I come out and shit. No, but listen, the fact of the matter is, when it comes to it, I know as a father, it probably drains you terribly. Speaking on the Smithsonian, I think what's going on with today's government and today's administration is that they're doing that not only for the Africans, they're doing it on everybody, because the goal is, whether it's Japanese or whatever, obviously not, maybe they're not doing it too much on the Jews, on the Israeli part, because I'm not going to get deep on that because that's a whole other conversation. But I think they're doing it for a lot of the minorities, so to speak, because they're trying to they want to look at the patriotism of America, the patriots, and the good side of America, and they don't want to teach the kids about the bad side, which I know is another thing we can get into, but it's not my main goal. I'm just saying what you said. I'm bringing up what I think they're doing.
Right.
K through 12, they don't want to teach it, but as we know, in college, they're never going to take out Black history. I've taken a Black history class.
Yes.
Like they teach you exactly what happens, how it happened, everything that you mentioned. So it's still being taught. This administration and almost even Biden, they act like they were like, the savior. They're going to come and do everything for the Blacks. And Kamala wasn't going to do shit either. Let's be completely honest. K through 12, they don't want to teach it. I don't think that's ever going to change. I don't think they're ever going to actually teach the gruesomeness of what actually happened in slavery towards the African Americans and all that other stuff. It's always going to be left to choice if you want to learn in college. In college, if the kid wants to go and learn about exactly what happened in Black history, they can. But I do agree that it should be taught, but it is taught. They're just not getting into the gruesomeness, which I don't know if that's something that you would want to be taught K through 12. Is that something that you guys think it should be taught?
I want to jump in to add that I definitely see the problem. Not only that it's not being taught, but that there is a lying in essence, which is really what it is, where they're taking the actual history. And instead of saying what was going on, they're saying, it wasn't that bad. These Black people, they got paid to work. They were lazy and they just didn't want to work. So, they were getting paid and they could have just had their job. And, they paint narratives like this.
Where do they say that, though?
Teachers say that.
Which teacher?
Teachers
That's
in
a
our
horrible
Hamburg
teacher.
School District.
That's a horrible teacher.
Yeah, there are. This is not even a isolated incident. There are many incidents where people try to teach kids, and
those are not good people.
Of course, but in an effort, the reasoning they give of, we don't want to share the gruesomeness, we don't want to share what was done, which you never hear about the Holocaust. They show you pictures of the Holocaust, gas chambers, this and that. Never once have I heard anybody say
it was too gruesome.
It's too much. Yeah. And I will say that with slavery and the babies to alligators and cutting off the genitalia and skinning people, very, very gruesome. So I definitely would not recommend that to a fourth grader. But at the same time, telling kids that slavery was just basically a workforce, that these people were lazy and it wasn't as bad as they're saying, and they need to stop complaining, which is what it's like what many Black people still hear as they go into the workforce today. I hear that many times. I've had many managers say, "Why are you lazy? You're just complaining. You're just." They have all these excuses. And it's.
But were they correlating that to your Blackness?
Exactly. Me as a Black individual, I'm very smart. I'm very competent, capable.
Tell them.
I went to get my bachelor's in math. I was a math major, but nice. Anywho, not that makes me better or anything else, but
it does.
I'm not dumb.
It makes you more logical, probably. Yeah, like your logistics wise.
Yeah, I would definitely say I'm a logical, human being, and many times. People look at me and they judge me by my skin, by the fact that I'm a woman. They just think I'm a dumb Black girl. I don't know what's going on in their mind. I couldn't even imagine. But
who are these people you're running into?
The world. Yeah. So basically we're arguing over the keys. Cop is saying freeze. My sister, she's frozen with her hands up, and I turn and look, I see the cop, and I'm frozen too. I was so afraid because at 7 years old, before that, I just felt invincible. I felt like I can fight a lion. I literally thought if somebody pulls a gun on me, I would just like pow pow, and like I could do all this stuff. But seeing the gun, I was like frozen like ice. I was so afraid. He calls for backup. We're in the CHP parking lot. So everybody, officers start pouring out of the station. They surround us in like a semicircle. We're in the car. And I see my mom. She works for the CHP. And as I see her, I felt a sense of relief. And she started to take a step like she was going to run. And a lady grabbed her and said, "No, he might shoot." And she said that, and, I don't know. I just felt like I must have died inside because I just, I could have been dead at that moment. I remember being so froze. And he was, I don't know how many times he was saying, "Freeze, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up." I couldn't even move. Like I was just stuck. And, later on, looking back, I can't say specifically, but I definitely didn't feel like I deserved to have a gun put on me, but I know that there was some part of me that I don't want to say I felt like I did, you know what I mean? But it just felt like I wasn't protected or looked after, or I wasn't treated like I didn't deserve to have a gun put on me. When we left the station, there wasn't any big ordeal, like what just happened. You should have never done that. We just kind of drove up out of there, and later on
No
we heard that no apology.
What was the explanation of why I pulled it out? Just thought you guys were fighting?
He said that he thought we were older. I was 7. My sister was 8. He thought that we were older. He said my sister was trying to steal the car from me. And so that's why he pulled the gun. And my sister said that he got written up for using, I don't remember, excessive force or something. But, that was the end of it. It was like no big deal, but definitely a life-changing experience for me, especially getting older and seeing how other children 7 years old are treated and how are looked at, and how I look at 7-year-old kids. And when I think like, damn, this cop really put a gun on me. I look at like I didn't look gangster, you know what I mean? Like I didn't look threatening, and I have to give myself these reasoning. I have to look at my pictures and say, did I look like, somebody should have put a gun on me? And many people of other races don't even have to have those type of thoughts, especially so young. And I'm a girl on top of that. I feel like Black boys are treated even way harsher.
If you were a boy, that you would be dead. We wouldn't be talking right now. They would have shot you down.
And it's
he has a toy car. Light up the car. Like
exactly. So.
And this is not like, I just want to say one thing because I don't need to say too much. But for anybody like watching, just so you understand, again, your boy, I'm not a soft person whatsoever, and neither is she. Star athlete over here. All the accolades that her and our older sister had, like we are very aggressive and tough and thick-skinned people. And it doesn't matter how strong you get. It just gets to a point though where it's like, yo, why am I fighting? Why do I have to even fight these battles? Like what's happening right now? Like why can't I get the same treatment that I'm watching other people get? We could sit here for 30 hours. 50 days, and I could tell you 1,000,000
40
stories,
days and 40 nights according to the Bible.
1,000,001 of my own personal stories, but I won't bore you with that. I just ask that when you're talking to anybody of any other race, so when I'm talking to Max, he's of the Armenian descent, 99.1%. When I'm talking to him and he shares with me any story that sounds outlandish, I promise you this, I believe him. I know there are liars in the world, but like I believe him. If I'm talking to Moses and Moses tells me the most craziest event or whatever, I promise you I believe him. I usually believe people, right? But it just seems like there's a lot of like, she shared the story and then it's going to be questions of, why do you think that was, instead of just being like flat out, should have never happened.
They're gonna ask all these questions. Like there was no necessary roughness of any kind to a child putting a gun to their head. Like, what are you thinking?
It was
You
wild.
know, and I mean, we all have those.
You know,
stories.
when I was
I've had
younger,
those
I thought
stories
that this story made more sense. I haven't thought about this story in a long time. When I was younger, I thought, well, yeah, you guys were fighting, but then it's like
Still, exactly. Like,
Exactly.
it makes no sense. I don't
Were
know.
you guys living in LA at the time?
No, this was in Altadena.
Altadena?
We were living in Alhambra, but
But
this
still,
was the
it was at that
CHP
time. It was
up in
probably the
Altadena.
'90s.
How was it? The 90s or
Yeah.
like
no.
late 80s?
Oh yeah, it was the 90s.
It was the 90s.
Yeah.
'90s
the
were a
90s.
crazy time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was for sure way more racist back then.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
one thing I will say that's progression. I feel like law enforcement in themselves has become way less racist, and I believe that is due to the fact that we have a lot of different races going into law enforcement,
Right. Mhm.
but our government has not changed. And I feel like you got Congress. These dudes been in Congress for like 97 years.
Bro,
Let me say one thing real quick. One thing. I don't think the government is ever going to be for Africans or African Americans.
Right.
I'm just being
never
straight
gonna
up.
be for any
It's
type
not.
of
It's never
people
going to
of
be
color. It's always gonna
anybody.
be for the whites.
It's always going to be mostly for the Chads. It's going to be for people who look or give the part as an American, or
White
they
passing.
accept. No, not even white passing. Not even white
passing.
passing. Or as you take that full American identity and always have to be let it known that, oh, I take this complete American identity and I'm going to drop all my other roots to the side.
Yeah.
That's the only time where America's going to be like, okay, we're going to care for this guy too. Because there, like you said, you've told me, I'm not going to bring up names of senators and stuff that are African American, but a lot of Africans would say, oh, he's a sellout for the way he thinks.
Right.
But this guy got voted into, let's say, in the state that white people had to vote him in, and he was the majority vote in. So it's conflicting. It's a very confusing, and again, you guys have lived through it. We haven't lived through it, so it's not too much to say.
But you have your own experiences though.
Man, it's been a great episode. Thank you for coming down, and
Thank you.
You know,
Been a
it
pleasure,
was a
my
great
friend.
time. Any last thoughts? Anything else you guys want to say, or anything? Does anybody else have anything going on right now, or?
We have something going on. It's about to be a whole bunch of short films and production coming out. We just upgraded.
We got a movie we're writing right now. Man, we've been making connections with so many people. A lot of content coming with Big Boy. Actually, I don't even know if you guys know this. I haven't told you guys this, but I'm actually working on a documentary for Nipsey Hussle right now.
There you go.
So
That's
that's because of the contacts with Big Boy. It's unseen footage of Nipsey back when he was actually in the streets and shit like that.
There you go.
So man, just when that comes out, we have something going on with Big where we're gonna do a whole premiere and everything like that, man. So I'll keep y'all updated on that. Look out for it.
Sounds dope.
That's what's up. Happy to hear.
Other than that, go ahead.
It's another great episode. No, it was a good episode. I wish we could have talked more about these things, to hit more to go in depth, deeper, ask the questions that need to be asked, get the answers that the people want to hear or don't want to hear, because it is what it is. Anybody could watch the show. But like we said, that's another episode of Boss Talk. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
It's another great episode, another great day. God bless.
God bless everybody. Stay prayed up.